Hello there, awesome peoples. Before anything else, let me ask you one question. When was the last time you used an LLM? Your answer might be that you have used it just few hours ago because that's an average answer, and that comes out to a prediction that in future the use of LM can even outpace the use of a social media. And that's really possible because if we see the way a chat GPT was adopted, it's the fastest adoption of anything in the history of internet. So, but there is a problem with LLMs that we all have faced, and we all realize that whenever we ask some questions to these LLMs like ChatGPT or something like that, they always tend to give us hallucinating answers. The questions that we ask, even if they don't know, they just try to explain it, they just try to gaslight us, they just try to hallucinate us, and always their main focus is to give an answer rather to focus on the accuracy. And to solve this problem came the talk of the town, that was RAG. And you must have also heard about the topic RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG. And you must be wondering, what the hell is RAG? If if you're wondering that, then you have just landed at the right place, because by the end of this webinar you will be very sound enough to explain this topic by yourself. So buckle up and let's try to understand the concept behind retrieval augmented generation. But before asking who is Gamora, where is Gamora, let's ask why is Gamora, which means why is RAG, why really RAG matters in the AI development. So let's try to understand an analogy. I asked the chat GPT, or like I asked an LLM which is not very recently trained and is trained on a model before 2022 or something like that. And I asked an LLM that, hey, dude, just tell me who won the Euro 2024 championship. And in some cases, which I've realized that the LLMs which are trained before that, they don't really know the right answer. They would say Italy national football team or anything else. And the reason is that they are not trained on the recent data. Now they are now the problem that occurred here was that LM gave us an answer that was very confident, and we came up with a, but in the end that answer came out to be a wrong answer. So that came out to be a limitation of LLM, which was that it rely on static training data, which means that their knowledge was frozen at the time of training. That means that although they were trying to increase their understanding, logic, and reasoning, but the if you ask them question that requires some data, they are limited on that, and they are limited on the time of data when they are trained with. And then they also generate the responses that sound very confident, like they know the answer, but that is not very accurate. And then they lack transparency because there's no way that you are going to know that where the information is coming from. So that created a very much obstacle in the development of LLM and the adoption of LLM, because people would then start just going back to again searching, and then they would just say, okay, LLMs are there, they can be a good chatbots, like they will just go back to being a chatbots, and it won't be of much use. So then came the word retrieval augmented generation. So RAG came as a solution, and before trying to understand what RAG is, let's try to understand what generation is. So generation is something that a text is generated, a generated pre-trained transformer is gonna generate a text, and then it's just gonna give you an answer. Then came the two words, which was retrieval and augmented. So let's try to understand the meaning of those words step by step. Retrieval just means that you are taking information from somewhere. Augmented means that you are augmenting it in the front of a transformer, and then using these two informations, you're creating one output, and that output is going to be more confident and more trustworthy. The reason is that you're using a data set from the history to create that kind of output. So that created the base of RAG, which was retrieval augmented generation, made AI work more smarter. It gave it more time to think and more respond, and give a better response. So what it does was that it is using a combination of accuracy, transparency, and reliability to make the AI system more usable. Let's try to understand this with an analogy. Let's say that you are stepping inside a restaurant, and then there are two guys. one of the waiters that is gonna give like do this housing for you for the that day. It's just like you are gonna ask them questions regarding the menu, and that waiter is very very smart. He's very very well trained. He knows what is there on the menu, and he's gonna give you the best thing that you want to have. And you are gonna ask the waiter that, hey, I want to have let's say biryani, I want to have pasta, I want to have a pizza. And then he's just gonna go back to the chef's kitchen. He's gonna give them the order, gonna give the order back to your time, and it's going to be very smooth on that part. But there's another waiter that if you are gonna ask the waiter, he is or she is also gonna give the response. Like he's or she is also gonna give you, tell you things about that. Hey, you can combine your Alfredo pasta with a glass of wine or something like that. And if you're thinking on the wine, which liquor to go with, if you're taking whiskey, he's just gonna say that you can go with a Diablo or something like that to pair up with and have a good little dinner. And he's also going to tell you that, hey, we are also having some kind of discounts, because he's getting like he's taking some of this knowledge that he already has. He is using the data of the today. Like today, the owner of the restaurant just told them that we have a discount, and he used that knowledge of the data that was provided just today. And with using all of these things, he gave a much better response. So in both of the cases, both of the waiters are very well trained, both of the waiters are very well good. But the other waiter who is using the recently used knowledge and is also using some reasoning and acting is going to give you a better response. And you're going to trust that waiter more. Like you're going to trust the earlier waiter as well, because that waiter is also doing a very very good job. But then the second serviceman, you're going to have a more understanding towards him, because he can understand your way of acting. So that gives the RAG an upper hand. So basically it is just an AI system, but an AI system that has access to a previous memory. So how does AI how does RAG work in hindsight? It first takes a user query. Like it's going to begin with the user's question. So let's just in this case, let's say that I gave a question that I want to understand. Okay, so now for this case we can take one more analogy to understand. And here like I just explained this concept again in one of our previous videos of the LM agents, that I want to take holiday, I want to take a vacation, and I want to ask my AI agent or my AI chatbot that can you plan a vacation according to me. And then the user query that it's going to take from me is that I'm just going to give a user query that, hey, plan a vacation for me. And then it's going to do a retrieval activation. So basically it's going to go back to my database from my previous understanding. The RAG is going to take the data, like how much like leaves I do have. Like let's say when I ask the user that I want to have a 10-day long vacation, but in reality I only have 8 days of leave left. So it's going to go to my memory, and it's going to fetch that thing, and then it's going to give some replies according to that. And then it's going to integrate all of those part. Then like it's going to combine the data with the original query for a well informed response. Like say that, hey, you cannot really take 10 days of vacation because you only have 8 days of leave left, so you can optimize 2 days and you can go here and there. And then it's going to generate a response that it has taken, and then it's going to deliver it to me. So basically it works on a 6 step. But you can also think, and you can also break this into just 3 steps. That is, it's going to take a response, a user query. It's going to take to like it's going to take it to an accessible memory, which is using like that part of memory is can be keep on updating. And from there it's going to give you a response which is very well accurate, and it's going to be more catered to your query. So basically that gives us a massive use case of RAG. And for a massive use case of RAG, we have 4 criteria to deliver it in. So the first criteria is data. So it's gonna the RAG is gonna fetch the most recent product manuals, FAQs, or other intros. And then it's gonna understand the type of industries, and it's gonna adapt itself for understanding the industry. Then it's gonna take the sources, like the current AI chatbot. The difference between an AI chat GPT or a chatbot and the web browsing is, the most similar way is that a web browser can browse, it can search, whether AI can just logically give you the answers on the basis of the trained data it is trained on. And then it's gonna also have and here on rag it can take sources, like it can do web browsing because it has tools attached to it, and then it also has access to your past data. So let's try to understand this by an example that you want to create a web3 governance voting assistant where you will fetch the latest details on the governance proposals which will be used from the data, and then you're going to adapt it to the industry of the web3, and you're going to use the same linguistic adaptations. You're going to have the information of the staking, understand how the tokenomics works, and then you're going to give the sources where it was taken from, like the official proposal documents, the financial audits, the reports and stuff. And then you're going to also provide a past data to the relevant stakeholders that this was the outcome of the previous voting and what can be valuable for the next context. And this brings out the benefits of rag with ai is that obviously the first one is that it has a great transparency because it does not gives you responses on the terms of assumptions or hallucinations. Rather than it's using data from a trusted resources that you are actually using, and then it's adapting itself to have an up-to-date data that improves the adaptability of AI's system. And then it's also very very efficient because you don't really need to retrain the model again and again. You just need to update the data sources, and the model of llm is just going to work the same. It's just going to augment the data from the like from the new document, and it's going to take the data from there itself. And in this case you don't really need to retrain the model again and again and again to make it work better. You just need to update the storage data, and then it's going to have a good informed decision that the data back decision that combined with the historical context can give you a very real time updates. And then the accuracy of the data is going to be very very high because now it knows that the knowledge that it's coming from is not really obsolete, it's not an outdated knowledge, it's coming from a real time information. And the external source is very relevant because you can keep on updating the external source, and you don't really need to update the llm again, but you can just keep on updating. Yeah, like you can connect some tools that is continuously updating the external source, so that the way your RAG, like the way your LLM is working is that it's getting training data from a very updated source, and it's giving more efficiency, it's going more accuracy, it's having better adaptability and good transparency. So that was just it, and now you know that what RAG is. So basically you can try to explain also yourself that what an rag is and what are its use cases. So basically by ending I'll just give one more definition. Rag just helps to make the working of ai faster by accessing another memory in between the process, and instead of just giving a response directly, it's gonna take the response, like it's gonna go back to to access the memory in between, and according to the memory it's gonna act on the memory, and according to that it's gonna give out a response. So basically if you want to ask the questions like regarding, now if I want to ask my rg question that who won the 2024 euro championship, it's gonna give me the right answer. And then in this way you can have a better use cases. And one of the most best use cases of the RAG that we saw was creation of AI agents. I, if you don't know about AI agents, you can check our other videos out. We have recently created a video on LLM agent history, and one of the videos called Edgar. So you can check that out. And if you want to build more smarter and adaptive website applications, if you have any idea, we are also a good team of AI developers who are creating systems based on RAG, AI agents, and many more. You can reach out to us anytime. And thank you for joining. Stay tuned for the next time when we bring out the next big topic into the space of technology in Web3. And just stay tuned. Bye bye.